Isaiah 13, verse 9. Let's start at verse 8 again. And they shall be afraid, pain and sorrow shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one to another. Their faces shall be as flames. Behold, the day of the Lord Yahweh, or Yahweh shall cometh, cruel both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate. And he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. Jump down to verse 11.
I just want, before you continue, I was just thinking about, we were talking about the pregnancy, right? When you're going through labor, you can get the epidural, right? That kind of numb the pain.
So they say.
This is the epidural. This wisdom now, there's going to be stability in them times, right? But you got to get it now. You can't get the epidural after a certain time, brother.
Verse 11, Isaiah 13:11, and I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity, and I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible.
And the Lord is laying low to pride, man. And the only way you can humble pride, man, is through brutality, man. Because all Esau knows is violence, man. You can't humble Esau any other way, man. That's why the Lord said, because you hated not blood, blood's going to pursue you. You ain't have a problem when it was somebody else's blood, when now it's your blood. That's what the Lord is bringing, man. Through all of these various calamities, man. And people are going to find out, man, that wickedness has a price, man. And that price is expensive, man. And it's grievous, man. It don't happen overnight. Just like the reward of the righteous didn't happen overnight, man. We have many captivities to go through as the nation of Israel. And now at the end of the movie, everybody want to be an Israelite.
No, it don't even matter no more. It don't matter.
Now they say
everybody can come in.
Now they say you can be a spiritual
Come as you are.
What's up, brother? How you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. All right, man. Shalom, brother. What's up? What's up? Hey, that's beautiful. It's good to see you again, brother.
Yeah, likewise.
Hey, if you got any questions, just let us know. We just gonna roll in the spirit. You got it, right?
Beautiful too. Amos chapter 5, verse 14. Seek good and not evil, that ye may live. And so the Lord and the power of hosts, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, shall be with you, as ye have spoken. Hate the evil and love the good, and establish judgment in the gate.
And a part of establishing judgment in the gates, man, is preach the word, man. It has to be spoken so the people can hear it, man. And it's not just on the internet, but you have to be out here in the face of the people, man, so they can see the message of the Lord playing out in 3D, so to speak, man. You got it.
Hate the evil. Hate the evil and love the good, and establish judgment in the gate. It may be that the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, will be gracious unto the remnant of Joseph.
And we're hoping for what? A pardon, man. We're hoping that the Lord forgives the iniquity that we commit on the daily and that we've committed in the past, man. And that can only happen through the grace of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. We show our faith through what? Our works, man. That's keeping the commandments to the best of our ability. You know, that's doing the labor of love, telling our people who they are, man, and warning our people in the other nations that the Lord is bringing death and calamity. You see the government shut down, all these things are happening as a result of wickedness, man. And there has to be a price. If the Lord didn't do this, people would think it's okay to be wicked, man.
Brother just read, we're supposed to hate the evil and love the good. So in Psalm 119 and 104. Psalm 119 and 104. Through thy precepts I get understanding. Therefore I hate every false way.
And what is a false? Oh, it's like,
I just want to say that's the hate the evil, love the good.
Yeah, and what's a false way, man? Iniquity, man. Cutting corners, so to speak. Because what happens when you commit iniquity? You basically cutting corners. Like lying, bearing false witness. It's easy in the beginning when you lying, you get off scotch-free in the beginning. But if somebody catch you in that lie, it becomes this long thing that you could have avoided if you just kept it real from the start. All of these things are Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai's way of keeping this world running. Nah, you good, bro. Keeping the world running properly, man. when you disobey the laws of Yahweh Shem Shai, you win on a short term. It's a consolation. It's a consolation prize, man. But when you do the right thing, Yahweh Shem Shai establishes you. That's what we're trying to be established.
Jump on the 18.
This is Amos chapter 5, verse 16. Therefore, the Lord of hosts, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, saith thus, wailing shall be in all streets, and they shall say in the highways, Alas, alas, and they shall call the husbandman to mourning, and such are the skillful of lamentation to wailing. And in all vineyards shall be wailing, for I will pass through thee, saith the Lord. Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you? The day of the Lord is darkness, not light. As if a man did flee from a lion and a bear met him.
So the Lord is telling you, man, that the day of the Lord that's coming, man, is dark, man. That's why the saints, the ones that receive this, we fear. And through our fear, we make it haste, man. Because we know that the Lord's day is dark, man. That it has to become dark before you can get to that actual sunlight, man.
It says, knowing the terrors of the Lord will persuade men.
Because he want to know about the 7 heads, 10 horns.
Oh yeah, let's get it. All right, so when you go to that 7 heads, this is the system, all right.
Okay, so man, you can show me. You can tell me about. I got a mobile Bible download on my phone.
All right, yes.
So I can follow y'all.
All right,
you can tell me exactly what.
Which one? You got the King James 1611. What you got? It's a regular Bible.
Religion can't take you to heaven when you die. I got the New Testament. Based on the cross can't take you to heaven when you die.
Go to Jeremiah.
Baptism
I'm going to tell you if you got a good book. Go to Jeremiah 14:2. This how you know if you got a good Bible.
Jeremiah 14.
Yeah, and 2. Yeah, as long as it say black in there, it'll show you that the Jews is black. Most books say they born for the land. It don't say black. All the new translation Bibles, it don't say they are black. It say they born for the land. That's how you know you got a good Bible.
So I got I'm gonna get the beats, all right, 7 heads, all right. So it's Revelations chapter 13 and verse 1.
Revelation.
Verse 1. And it reads, and I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his head the name of blasphemy. All right, now when you go into this, you're going to get the scripture. This is a system.
He died for the homosexual.
He died for the murderer. He died for the genocidal maniac. He died for people that other people think don't deserve it. Jesus Christ is willing to forgive you today.
This beast is real.
It's not a physical beast that
It's a spiritual beast.
It's a system. It's a way to describe the system that we're in right now. So when you go into Daniel saw 4 beasts, and those 4 beasts were different kingdoms, empires. Right.
The beast was actually the Roman Empire, but the Roman Empire fell and then came back. The wound that was deadly wound that was healed.
I keep this because I know it's gonna come in handy.
But the whole nation.
These are the 10 horns. These are the 7 heads right here. Germania Minor, Romans, French, Spanish, Germania Minor, and British and Greek. That's the 7 heads. 10 horns, these people.
Now don't Christ, he take those 10 crowns, don't he?
He take all the
Take all 10 crowns.
What you're gonna see is what happened was these 10 nations these 10 nations, when you look at them now, when you look at NATO and the EU, they're split up into like 29, like the NATO has 29. They broke up into smaller countries, but they were originally from 10. But they originally stemmed from the Roman Empire.
Right.
So that's a system.
It's
So
the
that's
rebirth of the
that
Roman
beast
Empire.
is a system, all right, and that system is what you have today. Because it's not only America. America is described as the horde that sitteth upon the beast. Because it's the spearhead.
Right, you see the female
From
right
here-
here? You see her sitting on the beach? That's North America.
From here, this is where all the policies and the thought process of the beast go forth.
So this is spiritual depiction.
This is spiritual description. So it's not going to be a physical beast in the last days coming out with 7 heads and 10 horns. And I'm going to get the precept on that, all right? So this is Revelation chapter 17. Now I'll wait till the rest get there.
Wait, Revelation chapter 17.
God. You there? It's Revelation 17 and 9, verse 9. So Revelation chapter 17, verse 9. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. And there are 7 kings. 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. Because when these nations were initially mentioned, America was not included. All right? It was going to be birthed out of that. Out of that system, it was going to come out. You got any?
Daniel.
Yeah, come. What's up, brother? Come on. Yeah.
How about you, not sure, brother?
Beautiful. So when you hear about that one coming out, I stand corrected. That one coming out is Britain. Okay, it's from Britain. You get America.
America was the horn, diverse horn.
Because what happens is Britain is not mentioned in the first 7 heads, the first 7 horns, the first 7 mountains. It comes up later. And then from there, you get America. Because America is a child of Britain.
Go ahead and Daniel which chapter? Daniel chapter 2. You got 7. Okay, go ahead.
I started to talk, this is what I'm talking, break it down, go back and forth.
Come.
It's in Daniel chapter 7, verse 1. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and a vision of heads upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, 4 winds of the heaven strove upon the great sea.
4 great beasts.
And 4 great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another.
No.
The first was like a lion. Hold on, I was going to say the 4 beasts represent 4 different major empires. That's what it's going to. It's going to break it down. But it says the first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. So that's one empire. That was
Which one?
That was Alexander.
Which one?
It said leopard.
Leopard is Alexander.
Leopard is Alexander.
The lion is Babylon. Babylon is the lion. So when the Lord describes these beasts are the characteristics of these nations.
And that's why, matter of fact, now that you said that, that's why America uses the eagle, because they copy Babylon.
Exactly. Exactly.
My bad, go ahead.
What they could possibly tell you that would make you think that they got the country? Oh, that's right. Don't throw your pearls before swine, right?
That's right.
Don't build on another man's foundation, huh?
That's right.
Anyway, my bad. It says, verse 5.
We had Daniel 7 up.
Daniel chapter 7, verse 5. And behold, another beast, a second like to a bear.
Right? And that bear is the Medo-Persian Empire. All right? Because you had the Babylonian Empire, which was consisted of Assyrians. Okay? After that kingdom came down, the Medo-Persian Empire came into power. All right? These are the Persians.
The Iranians. Iran. That sign.
Huh?
Jesus Christ, Iran. For all mankind.
Yeah, because when you go into Iran, Iran was originally Persian. It was originally called Persia. When you go into the Persian-Medo Empire, that's the bear that's being described in the 7th chapter.
It says, verse 5, and behold, another beast, a second like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, arise, devour much flesh. After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard. After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it.
Exactly, and that's talking about the Greeks. Beginning with Alexander the Great, or Alexander the Great, as it's known in history. All right, this coincides as well with the statue that Nebuchadnezzar saw. These are the 4 empires that came out, that the Lord said was going to come out before He establishes His kingdom.
After this, I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had a great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it.
Now, one reason that that kingdom was diverse is because they had what you call democracy. They had senators. Before, when you were in all these other nations, they had a monarchy, so to speak, one absolute ruler. When you go into Rome had one figurehead, Caesar, but then you had the Senate, which really made all of the major decisions. That's why it was diverse. Another reason it was diverse is, we're just going to.
It says, I saw it at the top. After verse 7. After this, I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly.
And Alexander the Great, when he the so-called conqueror, that's what he was. He conquered everything. He did it in like what? Like a short span of time. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it means. He was that's what it means. He was exceedingly strong. It says, because at the time, who he took down was the Persians. And the Persians you see that in 300. You see how strong, what's his name, Darius was? Darius the Mede was strong. The Persians was a force to be reckoned with. It says, I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn. That's America. That's America. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, by whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, and this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things. And that horn is America, I believe. That the first horn is America.
One of those horns is referred to
Oh yeah, come.
that might be
Yeah, let us say he shall speak great things.
But that's what it's been Ever explain the vision. It's verse 9. It says, I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were opened.
So this is dealing with after the 4th beast is done. So after the 4th beast is done, the Lord's going to establish his kingdom. But the fourth beast is described in Revelation. That's where you get that 7 heads, that 10 horns. That type of beast, that's the beast that's described in Revelation.
If they get there once,
Go into Revelation, it's talking about a system. Just like in each of these other systems, Syria or Babylonian,
once you get there once, you
Grecian,
know the
the Greek system, or the Medo-Persian Empire. All of these are considered beasts because of how they rule. You talk about the leper. The leper had what? Wings, because he conquered very quickly. It didn't take Alexander but 10 or 12 years to conquer all of the known world. And at that time, it was a great feat, but it also divided him into 4 heads because this kingdom got split after his death. So, long story short, this beast is describing the system. It's not describing the actual monster that's coming out of the sky. It's the way the Lord describes the system.
Days too. Let's tell you that.
Enough of that. White man's destiny is hell.
I was gonna get it, right?
I can't believe y'all putting that out there in this day and age. If I put something like that out there, I'd be blaming the racists.
So this Daniel
But
chapter
you
2.
guys put that out there in scripture. Get it, man.
Start at
Can't see the
6.
verses quoted down there, but I'm sure.
King answered and said to Daniel, whose name was Belshazzar, art thou able to make known unto me the dream which I have seen and the interpretation thereof? Daniel answered in the presence of the king and said, the secret which the king has demanded, cannot the wise man, Daniel chapter 2, verse 27. And the wise men, the astrologers, the magicians, the soothsayers show unto the king, but there was a God in heaven that revealed secrets and made known to the king Nebuchadnezzar what shall be in the latter days. Thy dream and the vision of thy head upon the bed are these. As for thee, O king, thy thought came into thy mind upon thy bed. What shall come to pass hereafter? And he that revealeth secrets make known to thee what shall come to pass. But as for me, the secret is not revealed to me, for any wisdom that I have more than any living, but for their sakes that shall make known the interpretation of the king. So he said, verse 31, thou, O king, sawest and behold a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. It said, this image head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, and his belly and thigh of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. Thou sawest to that a stone was cut out which our hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and break them in pieces. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floor. And the wind carried them away, and no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth.
And that mountain represents government. That's why when you go to Revelation 17, they're called the 7 heads, 7 mountains. Those are governments, those are nations. The Lord Shabbat is going to turn into a mountain. He's going to be the mountain that governs the world. Let's get Isaiah 2. Because it says in Isaiah 2 that they're going to go to what? The mountain of the Lord. That's the government of the Lord.
Isaiah chapter 2, verse 1.
Hold up, wait till brothers get there.
You got to start at the beginning.
You there, brother?
Isaiah chapter 2, verse 1. The word of Isaiah, the son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. It shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord Yahweh's house shall be established at the top of the mountain.
Now that's the same mountain that's being established today. Where it says it became a mountain. That's the same mountain that's being established. And that's a government. In Revelation 17 it tells you that mountains represent government.
And shall be exalted above the hills.
So the hills are other nations. And they're not as strong, so they're not compared to mountains. That's why I say it shall be exalted above the hills. All right, what about you? You like yourself Deuteronomy 15 and 6.
Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 6. For the Lord thy power blesseth thee, as he promised thee, and thou shalt lend unto many nations, but thou shalt not borrow. And thou shalt reign over many nations, but they shall not reign over thee.
And that's the Lord's mountain being established. When the Lord's mountain is established, the nation of Israel is going to reign over many nations. But no other nation is going to reign over Israel. So when you see the mountain being exalted above the hills, that's what the Lord's promise being completed.
So back in Isaiah, and shall be exalted above all the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it. And many people shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord Yahweh, to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways.
And you notice how I said the mountain of the Lord, because of what? The government of the Lord shall be established.
Right.
And they're going to come to our nation. After all of the things have come to pass, they're going to come to our nation, and they're going to do this.
Right. And we will walk in his paths, for out of Zion shall go forth the law, and the word of the Lord Yahweh from Jerusalem. And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nations shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore.
And that's when we have peace on the earth.
Right.
First, the Lord is going to judge the earth, because you have to have a price for wickedness. Right. Otherwise, people going to say it's cool to be wicked. The reason the Lord destroyed Assyria, Egyptians, Babylon, Medo-Persian Empire is because there's a price for wickedness. And people are supposed to look back on those kingdoms and nations and say, you're not going to be like that. They're examples. When you deal with this court system, they have what? A precedence. So if a certain court case comes before the Supreme Court and a certain judgment goes out, then if anything happens that's similar to that, they go back to that case. All of these, you got it, brother, you got it.
If I can say this right here, what I just read when they said they shall beat their swords in the plowshares and their spears in the pruning hooks. When you go to Joel 2, he's telling all the nations it's opposite. He said, beat your plowshares and the swords and your pruning hooks and the spears. That means these missiles. But in Isaiah 2, to tell you when the Lord established his mountain, he's going to change them pruning hooks and spears back to farming tools, agriculture tools, but they're going to go back to farming.
Because the mountain of the Lord is going to be established. So if you have a nation that has a problem with another nation, they're going to come to our nation. Because just like when you go into the 12 tribes of Israel, Levi was the priesthood of the Lord. He was a connection between the children of Israel and the Most High. Whenever they wanted to make a sacrifice, they had to take it, sacrifice it, and give it to the Levites. Our nation is going to serve the Lord and be the in-between, the go-between between the other nations and the Most High. That's why he said you're going to be a nation of kings and priests.
To take it back to take it back to the beast. That's what the beast is. The beast is like the go-between. They govern the world, man. Can't nobody make a move unless NATO and the EU sign off on it. You see?
Or they sanction.
Yeah, that's the beast. That's that system that they use to push their might around. Right.
Or they're sanctioned. And that's why that's why the Lord says after all of these nations have their chance at ruling the earth, he's going to establish his people. Our people love, we're going to this all the time, our people love to say, look, we're gods, we're sons, we're kings. But the Lord is requiring us to actually assume the responsibility too, not just the title. We special, but we got to actually act like it. You can't have all the perks of being a king and none of the responsibility. That's what the Lord is teaching us now. And before he can actually give us a kingdom that's established forever, he got to take us through this fire real quick. Because it's a lot of stuff we done learned here that we got to unlearn before we can get into the kingdom.
Be transformed and renewing your mind.
And that's the Lord's game plan. That's the end game. The end game is that the nation of Israel is in rulership over all these other nations. And then they don't learn war no more. They learn wisdom from the Lord's people.
Shut the camera. It's Zechariah chapter 8. Zechariah chapter 8 verse 20. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, it shall yet come to pass that there shall come people and the inhabitants of many cities, and the inhabitants of the city shall go to another, saying, let us go speedily to pray before the Lord,
You can't twist the
and to
scriptures
seek
make
the
it
Lord
say
of hosts.
that a white
I
man's
will
gonna
go
go to
also.
hell. You
Yeah,
can't
many
twist the
people and
scriptures
strong
and say
nations
a black man's
shall
gonna go
come
to hell.
to seek the Lord of
That's called
hosts in
racism.
Jerusalem,
Right.
That's
and
called
pray before the Lord. Thus saith the Lord of hosts in those days, it shall come to pass that 10 men shall take hold of all languages of the nation, even shall take hold of the skirt of him that is a Jew, saying, we will go with you, for we have heard that God is with you.
So in that time, you're going to have many nations, men of different nations coming up to the Israelites and saying, I'm going to go with y'all. I want to learn from y'all.
They don't know what that one race is.
Exactly. Let's get ourselves 14.
And you ain't got the saving power of Jesus Christ cleansing you from all unrighteousness. You're going to go to hell when you die. It's that simple. No candy coating.
Come on. So let's grab that now. Where you at right now?
You ain't got Jesus. You ain't got salvation. You might be religious.
We'll work our way
You might
down.
have a religion.
Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 16.
i.e.,
Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them. And after I will send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them.
And see, right now, that's our job. Our job is to fish. I got one for you. Our job is to pull out this word. Exactly. And then, when after this word has been fished and we've been established, then the Lord is going to bring out hunters. And all of the cheap shots and all these opinions ain't going to matter in that day. So that's why we bear the indignation of the Lord. We sin against the Lord, so all right, we just going to say whatever they want to say against us. That's a part of our punishment because we disobeyed Yahweh Shema Shah. But it's going to come a time when vain words like that, they're not going to be presented before the men of the Lord.
They're not going to be tolerated.
They're not going to be tolerated. Beautiful, brother. There's going to come a time where that's not going to happen. But until then, we got to take it. Go ahead, brother.
Jeremiah 16 and 16. Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them. And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and out of the holes of the rocks. For mine eyes are upon all their ways. They are not hid from my face, neither is their iniquity hid from mine eyes. And first I will recompense their iniquity and their sin double, because they have defiled my land. They have filled mine inheritance with the carcasses of their detestable and abominable things. O Lord, my strength, my fortress, and my refuge, in the day of affliction, the Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth, and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profit.
And that's why the heathen rage, man. That's why they imagine the vain thing. Because when you find out that Israel is going to get their blessing, ain't no other nation included in that blessing. So we expect them to be jealous of that blessing. But we're understanding more important the spiritual part of our blessing. It ain't just for us to have bragging rights. It's for us to learn how to rule in rulership and righteousness. As the Lord is a ruler, we're going to be rulers. That's what being a son of God is. Part of being a son of God is having service and what? Judgment. So when we tell the people that this is going to happen, it's not of our words, it's of Yahweh Shema Shah. It's not we that made ourselves. Nobody wanted to go through our curses. Nobody wanted to be a part of that. When our nation was getting slaughtered, nobody wanted no parts of that.
The same word's not going to return to him void anyways.
Right. Nobody wanted to be a part of that. But see, you notice that this is the truth because we over here minding our business. Yeah, we minding our business. That's what happened.
He seen that destiny for Esau. He hot.
Let's get Isaiah 14.
That's why I brought out earlier. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine the vain things? What he raging about? Nothing, man. He wasting his breath.
Temper tantrum.
Let's get Isaiah 14.
Isaiah 14, verse 1. For the Lord Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the stranger shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord Yahweh for servants and handmaids. They shall take them captives, whose cap captive they were.
Right.
And they shall rule over their oppressors.
Now, when you go in the time of Isaiah, that never happened.
Right.
When we went into Babylonian captivity, we didn't walk out with Babylonians in chains. That never happened. So the Lord is saying this is a future prophecy. And continue on that. Continue on that.
And it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy filth, and from the hard abundance, and from the hard abundance wherein thou was made to serve.
Because our nation is in bondage right now, man. Our nation, we don't have a seat at the UN. Our nation don't sit amongst the League of Nations and decide what policies are going to benefit our nation. We don't get the opportunity or luxury to speak on behalf of our people. We just take the scraps off the table of the people that put us in. But the Lord is saying that it's going to come a time when we're going to have rest from all of this bondage that we've been in. And when we get taken out of here, we'll establish something better, man. You know?
This is Numbers chapter 24, verse 18. And Edom shall be a possession. Seir also shall be a possession for his enemies. And Israel shall do valiantly.
All right, and it tells you that Edom shall be a possession. So where is all nations being saved included and Edom being a possession? It tells you in Obadiah the house of Esau is going to be no more. There's still going to be nobody remaining in the house of Esau. These are the Lord's words.
Revelation 13 and 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with a sword must be killed with a sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
Nobody had a problem with Thanksgiving. Nobody had a problem with celebrating the destruction of our people. Because they never anticipated that they were going to have to pay for that, man. And now we're coming into the time where the Lord is about to bring war for his people, and not everybody want to be his people. Nobody want to be a Negro, Latino, or Native American unless it benefits them.
Brother, talking about Romans chapter 9, verse 13. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with Yahweh? Yahweh forbid. For he saith to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion.
That's not including certain nations, man. That's what the Lord said, man. This is what the Lord said before we got here, before you got here. This is what the Lord said, man. He said that Edom was going to be a desolation, man. And he was going to cut off the Edomites, man. That they be no more remembrance, man. And that was before we figured out who Esau was. Now that we don't figure it out, now we're forcing Christians to actually study the scriptures that they claim to believe in. Because nobody was mentioning Edomites before the Israelites got out here. Nobody knew who's who in the scriptures until the Israelites got out. Then it became a thing of, all right, this is this and this is that. Now everybody got to have a comeback. But this is the Lord's words. This is what the Lord said. He said, not of our will, but of his will. He said, my thoughts are higher than your thoughts. Just like you go into your crib and you get your favorite shirt, your other shirts don't say shit to you. Your red shirt don't say why you pick a blue one. You have a purpose. You got certain things you like. Even in nature, you got dandelions and you got weeds. Everything ain't equal. You got cats and then you got lions. The Lord didn't make no kingdom where every animal and the creature in that kingdom is equal. Even in the water, you got little tadpoles, you got little tunas, and then you got sharks. It's order in every kingdom. The Lord just said the order of humanity is that Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are going to be on top. But that's only contingent on them keeping their responsibilities. And that's why we're on the bottom now, because we never kept our responsibilities. Why would the Father reward us if we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing on the planet? Our nation promotes death to our nation. Plan B pills, abortion, all of that is destruction of our nation. So if you took abortion and Plan B out of our communities, we triple our numbers overnight. Our numbers will triple overnight, and these other nations know that. That's why they conspired this out here. But the Lord said that he's going to deliver us the same way he got us out of Egypt, he's going to get us out of here. And we're not gonna have to lift a finger like all these other religions. You got Islam, where they doing jihad. Now, not all of the belief of Islam is about war, but you have a lot of Islam that believes that there's gonna be a physical war that they gotta fight for their people. The Lord is telling us to come back to our heritage, to have faith, to be the change that you want to see. And then in our reward, Lord willing, to be that we'll be delivered from him, man. But that all starts with here and now. Because here and now is what defines where you end up later in life, man.
Deuteronomy 32, verse 8. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. For the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance.
Let's get Ecclesiastes 17 and 17.
This is exactly what's going on with these guys. Revelation 11 and 11. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from Yahweh entered into them. And they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. That's why they're nervous. Nervous, brother.
Yeah. But it's a reaction, man. When you see brothers waking up, that's their natural state, man. They want to react to it, man.
Not to mention they see the prophecies coming to pass. They know. Right. They're not gonna let us know, but they know. They fear.
Because we're not approaching it. We breaking down the scriptures right here. We're not going at bringing out the scriptures word for word. Everything we're saying, we're backing up the scriptures. We don't just sit there and talk. We back it up with scriptures. You can't just spit out your vein of you gotta back it up precept upon precept, man. You got it?
Ecclesiastes 17 and 17. But in the vision of the nations of the whole earth, he said a ruler over every people. But Israel is the Lord's portion. Verse 18, whom being his firstborn, be nourished with discipline, and giving him the light of his love, who have not forsaken.
So we're being nourished right now with discipline. Our nation is being nourished with discipline. That's what we're going through right now. That's why our nation is going through what we're going through. We're being disciplined by disobedience out here, man. And everybody wants to take part in the blessing, but nobody wants to be a part of that discipline. God is
God's not Jesus. Jesus is not God.
Oh yeah, but it said that he was God is bigger than Jesus. He was the firstborn, right? So this is Exodus.
So Jesus prayed to himself? You can't pray to yourself. When Jesus prayed to himself, God's bigger than Jesus.
Exodus 24.
God to Jesus is like Jordan to the God said, put no man before me, including Jesus.
Yeah, that's a prime example. It said Jesus prayed to himself. You know what they're trying to do? They're trying to make it as if they're God, putting their self above God.
Bro, it's clear. It's clear. You see who actually pulling out Bibles and precepts and who not. The proof is in the pudding. The book that we believe in, we pulling out the precepts to back it up. So the Lord said he changes not, man. Yeah, one brother?
I'll bring this out real quick. Because you were talking about chastity, so I'll bring it out. Revelations chapter 3, verse 19. As many as I love, I rebuke and chasten. Be zealous, therefore, and repent.
That's safe distraction though.
Where the fuck that came from?
Huh?
No, I'm saying, man. Hey, y'all got like a temple?
This is it. This is it.
Man, you come out here every week.
No, I mean like you got a location outside of here.
No, this is right here. Let's see right here, bro.
You got it? You got one? Let's get Isaiah 45 and 17.
Yeah.
Y'all compete. Y'all got Jesus everywhere. Y'all surrounded by Jesus.
All day, every day. But the Lord's word.
Y'all some warriors out this motherfucker, man.
The Lord's word gonna stand, man. We're not shaken by disbelief. We expect people not to believe.
So in Ecclesiastes 17 and 18, He say that Israel is his firstborn, right? So this is Exodus chapter 5, verse 22. Thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, thus the Lord, Israel is my son, even my firstborn.
Let's get
Exodus chapter 5, verse 22.
Excuse me, 1 second. 1 second. Can you put it on scripture that says, do not argue about the scripture going to get the vain interpretation over things?
We got a YouTube channel.
That's it.
Hey, y'all, I mean, is there more you like in other cities?
No, the people, Israelite,
Hey, I'm fucking with them. I fuck with them every week.
Israelite at heart.
I fuck with them.
You're an Israelite at heart.
I damn sure ain't no Christian. You mean swear?
No, I'm saying no. Right here? Yeah, Israelite.
You got the same shit. Muzzles off.
45
Black bar mitzvah.
Isaiah chapter 45, verse 17. But Israel shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation. Ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded. World without end.
And you know what? That's the world without end, man.
That cut that whole John 3:16.
Isaiah 45 and 17, bro.
Isaiah, you said Isaiah
45 and 17. One more time, bro.
This is Isaiah chapter 45, verse 17. But Israel shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation. Ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded. World without end.
Let's get Joel 2:27. Because the Lord is basically telling you that our world is not going to end. Once our government gets established, it's not going to end. There's not going to be an end to the nation of Israel in rulership. And that's why we're not ashamed and we're not confounded, being confused. That's why people have a problem with this. That's why when real edification happens, you're going to get a lot of distractions coming in. Even in your own personal life, but you're going to have, as you start trying to learn, you're going to have things come in your life that try to take you away from what you're learning. And that's just to make you stronger, to focus, get your focus, so you can lock in on what you're supposed to do. Because the Lord said that we know this, if you know you're a king, you know you're son of God, you're supposed to carry yourself like that. And every day you wake up, you're supposed to be better than you were yesterday.
Oh, you're not alive. You know what I was thinking, brother? Maybe the cameras are here. It's twice. I'm going to keep going in this, right? I'm going to keep going.
It's Isaiah 45 and 18. For thus saith the Lord that created the heavens, Yahweh himself that formed the earth and made it. He hath established it. He created it not in vain. He formed it to be inhabited. I am the Lord, and there is none else. I have not spoken in secret in a dark place of the earth. I said not unto the seed of Jacob, seek ye me in vain. I, the Lord, speak righteousness. I declare the things that are right. So basically he's saying, if it ain't going to Israel, it ain't going to nobody. Because he said he didn't create the world in vain. That's what that scripture means. The kingdom shall not be done. Yeah, so like the Lord said, who was it before? That's cold.
I got a precept to back you up. What you were telling him about when you come into this truth, man.
It's just an hour long.
Yeah, we got another camera. We're going to start it over. We're going to start another camera after
Come
this.
into the truth.
Right back.
All right, distractions will try to take you away from it. James chapter 1, verse 2. My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations, knowing this, that the trying of your faith work patience. But let patience have a perfect work, that ye may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. Right, so we jump down to verse 12. It says, blessed is the man that endureth temptation, But when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushua have promised to them that love him. So when you come into the truth, man, you're going to be tested at all levels.
But that's like anything. Anything you get into, you're going to be tested. Anything you get into, you're going to have to endure. So how much more if you actually son of God, how much more are you supposed to endure and take what's going on like a champ?
When you come into the truth, man, we go hard for the Lord on everything. Selling dope, playing basketball, whatever. How much more you going to go hard for the Lord?
The Son of the living God.
Hey, you at work. We go to East South Job. We have work for the East South every day, on time, 10-15 minutes early.
Jesus said unto Peter,
how much more on time you heard, Lord?
say that I am. Thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 2, verse 1.
Right.
My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in the time of trouble. Cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end.
And that's our hope, man. That's why we endure to the end, man. That's why Lord willing we endure to the end, man. That's why we take whatever's put on us, we take it cheerfully, man. Because you never know, what's on the other end of that tribulation, man. It says your faith worketh patience.
Verse 4, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity.
The mixed multitude.
You come into the truth, he's going to try you. All levels. You might be wondering why you're going through things. The Lord tests you. See how much faith you have. It's a faith builder. That's all it is.
But it's just like anything else. Like in order for you to get muscle, you got to work out. You got to put heavier weight on. You can't just take the same weight and lift the same weight and expect to get big. You get stronger by lifting harder weight. So that's what the Lord is going to do in your life. He's going to put harder weights in your life. So once you get to it, your mind is stronger. Because the Lord's bringing real destruction. In our life, we're going to see it. It's going to play out in our lifetime. We're going to see people dying, people starve. And we got to have a mental clarity to be able to get through those things and still have our faith in the Lord.
Verse 6.
Yahudi. I do me live.
Verse 2nd Ezra, Ecclesiasticus chapter 2, verse 6. Believe in him and he will help thee.
Right.
Order thy way aright and trust in him.
Right.
Ye that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy and go not aside lest you fall. Ye that fear the Lord, believe him, and your reward shall not fail. Ye that fear the Lord, hope for good and for everlasting joy and mercy.
Right.
Look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded?
Right.
Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? For the Lord is full of compassion and mercy, long-suffering and very pitiful, and forgiveth sin and saveth in the time of affliction.
Because the real Israelites were going to be in captivity. And in order for you to get through that captivity, you're going to have a strong mind. So that's what the Lord is saying. When you get into trouble, don't make quick moves. Just stay and focus on what the Lord's trying to teach you, what he's trying to tell you. Because a lot of times we make our life harder when we do stuff out of just trying to get out of an uncomfortable situation real quick. But the Lord is saying, don't rush. You're going through something, just chill and see what the Lord got planned for you.
He that endure to the end.
Right.
Same shit.
That's what's saying. How did you all in? Like, take over the world, that's going to fly off.
You keep going with this.
Verse 12. Woe be to the fearful hearts and faint hands, and to the sinner that goeth two ways.
Read that.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 2, verse 12. Woe be to the fearful hearts and faint hands, and the sinner that goeth two ways.
Hold on. Things ain't looking good right here. I'm gonna go try Christianity. This right here, this. He said, I do that. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. They just told you that.
And don't be faint and fearful. Because if you believe what the Lord said, and if you get into trouble, you gotta have faith that He's gonna deliver you. Because if you doubt Him, then He's not gonna save you because you don't trust Him. Like if you had a homeboy and your homeboy don't trust you, you don't look at him. That's what the Lord is saying. Look, you get into trouble, don't rush. Know that I got you.
They tell you can rent it there. Anything that you're going, He gonna let you battle more than you can handle.
Right.
He ain't gonna put too many bricks on your back. You know you can't walk with it.
I got you.
He gonna give you enough just so you can
Put up a shut up.
It's that last rep.
Right.
When you hit it off your chest, and you had that pause moment when you lifting off the bench, and then you slowly get that weight up.
Right.
How you feel when you get off that bench? Like, yeah, boy, you love it. That's how you gotta look at it. Like in the faith, you gotta look at when the Lord put you through something and you get over it. That's a new level of faith. So now you get to a certain point when shit start going crazy through your life, you're gonna start remembering, all right, the Lord delivered me from this. There's plenty of times we all could have died a long time ago. Realistically, we'd have died for less. We'd have died for a corner or some friends who'd have fucked our wife if we weren't looking. We'd have died for less. The Lord is saying, look, I'm gonna bring you into something more, but you, just like you trusted them, you gotta trust me.
Realistically, we are dead, man.
We are. I mean,
We are dead. This is what gives us life, man. This place is hell. This ain't living. This is living. Getting up every day to work with slave.
Revelation 11:8 is that their body shall not in the street of that great city.
And we have, and that's why Micah 7, Micah 7 and 9. We have to bear the indignation of the Lord.
Because I mean, like,
Because at the end of the day, it's on us.
And I'm trying to talk to people.
This is back in Ecclesiasticus chapter 2, verse 13. Woe unto him that is faint-hearted, for he believeth.
No, you could, it ain't out yet.
Woe unto him that is faint-hearted, for he believeth not. Therefore shall he not be defended. Woe unto you that have lost patience.
Right.
And what will you do when the Lord shall visit you?
There it is. That's that. Seek the Lord while He may be found. Isaiah 55 and 6. Woe to you who have lost patience. What you gonna do? Who you gonna call on? Jesus Christ ain't gonna say.
And he said, those that don't believe, he's not gonna defend them. But you believe not. You gotta first thing first, the foundation. You have to believe that the Lord is, and then you have to have fear that there's gonna be repercussions to every action that you do on the earth. And when you know that, you move different. When you know that, hey, the Lord will get me if I step out of line. Move different.
Verse 15. They that